Welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today is January 16th, and that means day 16 of the 3DP 365 project. On today's episode, we're going to show you how I printed out this very cool Martin Luther King monument, so stick around. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me here on day 16 of the 3DP 365 project. If you're unfamiliar with the project, check out the description below. I put a facts section down at the bottom that'll give you all the details. But for today's episode, we're going to show you how we printed out the Martin Luther King monument here on Martin Luther King Day. And we printed this using MatterHackers PRO PLA in the color of gray on our gMax 1.5 XT+. In celebration of Martin Luther King Day, I thought it would be appropriate to print out this Martin Luther King monument scan that was created. And the guys over at Graphics Forge did a wonderful job of cleaning up the model and making it very printable. So let's head over to Thingiverse and I'll show you where to download the model. Then we'll tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings. Then we'll meet back here at the workbench and we'll talk about the print. Okay, so here we are at Thingiverse, and here is the Thingiverse featured model, and it is the MLK or Martin Luther King monument. And this is actually a cleaned up version of another model. And this model by Content by Design is an actual scan of the monument. And the guys over at Graphics Forge cleaned it up, and that's the one that became the featured print. And I'll put both of those links down in the description. That way we give credit to both of these guys for this model, because it is a derivative, it is a remix. But this is the model we printed. So let's head over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings. Alright, so here we are in Simplify 3D, and if you've downloaded and printed this model in the past, you may notice something different. Ours is pretty big, and that's because we blew ours up to 700%. And also for this print, I'm using a multiple process. I'm going to use a smaller amount of infill, and then I'm going to increase the infill just to make sure this top comes out smooth. And the reason why I'm doing that is I don't want to waste too much plastic because this is a very solid square model. Alright, under my process settings, now these are set up to do multiple processes, so they may look a little bit strange, but I'll go through them and I'll review why I did what I did for each setting. So under process number 1, we double click. Under layer height, we did a 0.2 millimeter layer height for the entire model. But for the first process, I don't want any top solid layers. I want this model to continue printing and not put solid layers in. But we do have 3 bottom solid layers and 3 perimeters. And we did use a brim on this by putting 0 in the skirt offset at 4 outlines. For this part of the print, we're only going to use 7% infill. That way we don't waste too much plastic. And we also printed this at 40 millimeters per second. This is where we'll do our multiple process settings. Under the Advanced tab, we have this set up to stop printing at 130 millimeters. And the reason why we're doing this is we're going to change the infill amount. So this is a multiple process setting print. So we'll hit OK. And under process number 2, double click. Under the Advanced tab, where we're going to make our settings change, we're going to start printing at 130 millimeters. And on this one, we're going to do 15% infill. And of course, on the layers, we're not going to do any bottom solid layers because we don't want to put any solid layers in the middle of the model. But we are going to finish with 5 top solid layers. So let's hit OK. And when you hit Prepare to Print, you'll be given a dialog box. And this is where you select all, and you want to do continuous printing layer by layer, and you hit OK. Now this may take a minute to process, but it should go pretty quick. Okay, so there's the sliced finished model, and if I play this through, you'll see where the infill changes. In the beginning, we have our 7% infill here, and as the model progresses, when it gets near the top, it's going to change to 15% infill near the top, so we have a nice top smooth layer. And there's the change. Now we're doing 15% infill, and the model will finish off. Alright, so that about does it for the preview. Let's fire up some of that time-lapse footage, and I'll meet you guys back over at the workbench. Alright, so that was a cool little bit of time-lapse footage, and here is the finished print. And I'll put some close-ups in at the end like I always do. But this turned out amazing. The Martin Luther King part of the monument, the sculpture itself, looks so good in this MatterHackers PRO PLA. And the gMax 1.5 XT+ picked up all the detail. This is a very good print. I'm very happy with this. You can totally read the words on the front. They're not blurred, they're not all filled in. It really did a spectacular job. I am really happy with this print. Well, that about wraps it up for day 16 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope you found this informative. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and join me again tomorrow on the next episode of the 3DP 365 project. This turned out amazing. This is one of the best prints from the gMax. I am really happy with this.